everyone, welcome to the show. My name is Amanda Ostrander. I am a teacher-turned-homeschool mom, and this is Raising A to Z, a place where we talk about all things homeschooling. And today we're going to talk about the winter slump. Let's talk about it. The winter slump hits. Do you feel like you're in a little bit of a homeschool slump? If so, that's okay. You're not alone. Having a slump at a certain point in the year is actually a very, very normal thing when it comes to homeschooling. There's a lot of factors that play into it, but sometimes it's just exhaustion. Sometimes it's just crappy weather. Sometimes it's just, needing to do something different. And sometimes it's just that, because every day feels like Groundhog Day. And that's a very normal part of homeschooling. We are kind of victims of our own creation in a sense that, we've created this thing, but then sometimes it gets a little boring or it gets a little monotonous or, the things we want to do, we can't do because the weather outside is terrible and we've been stuck inside. And there's all these things that play into the factor of having a slump. And especially here in Canada, having a winter slump is very, very normal. It's very normal to have slumps kind of January, February, because it's cold, it's dark, you can't really, the weather isn't always cooperative. We've just come off the high of Christmas, and so you kind of are hitting this big drop in excitement and emotions. It's a kind of a rough season for a lot of people. They say January, was it the third Monday of January is the saddest day of the year? There's a reason for it. But for homeschoolers, it kind of can make you feel like homeschooling is just like the most annoying, worst thing ever. What do you do if you are in a slump? I'm going to give you 10 ideas of things you can do to kind of break the winter slump and try something new. So let's get into it. First thing I always recommend when I'm doing consulting or talking to people who are having a hard time with a slump, the very first thing I recommend is try unit study or novel study. Something that is out of left field, something that doesn't fit with your normal homeschooling things. Try something new. Try, maybe you're like, oh, we do science like this. Try something totally different. We do a month of experiments, a really hands-on program. Oh, well, we've got all of our books planned out for the year. You know what? Take a break and throw that list out and pick something that your kids are absolutely going to love. Do something that is different, that is super exciting, that is going to get your kids really excited to sit down to do homeschooling every day. Because I've been doing this for a while, I noticed that January is a rough month for us. Coming off of Christmas, I personally feel the big drop of excitement. And because we don't really have anything until February, there's no holidays, there's nothing like that. So I find that, the 6 weeks from New Year's to Valentine's is a rough patch for us. So now when I do my homeschool planning, the first thing that I do in the year is find what is going to be our most exciting subject or topic for the year, the thing that my kids are the most excited about. And that's what I pick and put for January, because I know I'm going to need a really exciting pick-me-up. And that's just an easy way that I combat it now that I've been doing it for a while. But if you're new, try something new. It really does kind of pick things up. Another thing you can do to break a slump is actually to lean into it. By that, I mean, if you are feeling like you just want to go into hibernation mode, do it. Take a week and do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Read books in bed. Say every morning we're going to come in your PJs, cuddle in mom's bed, and we're going to read, a chapter or two of this book. We did that all of December. It was glorious. Every morning, the kids were crawling in bed with their books, and we would just read the book. And it was the greatest thing ever. Serve hot chocolate or tea while you're doing your homeschooling. Why not? Why not? No rules about it. You can do that. Maybe you decide to have maybe you guys decide to have a movie day, have a movie day once a week, and you're going to sit down and watch documentaries or Magic School Bus or the movie version of a book you've read. Lean it. If you're feeling I am in a slump, but I really am enjoying the hibernation vibes, do it. make that your plan for January. There's nothing wrong with it. On the total opposite side, you can get outside. And I say this with a grain of salt, knowing that I absolutely despise this suggestion. I am not a winter outdoors girl. That is not my vibe. I don't like the cold. I don't like the snow. And so I say this knowing that it is not my favorite recommendation, but it does work. And that's why I suggest it, because it does work. Try getting outside. Go skating, go sliding, go skiing, snowshoeing. A lot of libraries, I know up here in the north, rent out snowshoes, and you can rent snowshoes for your kids and go like walk in the woods. The only stipulation you need is really to dress for the weather and don't go when it's like dangerously cold, like minus 25 or less or colder. But if you can, get outside, do something fun. We a lot for in January and February. We did a little bit in December. But we take advantage of like public skating, and where there's going to be free skating, and we go skating. Actually, it's not too bad because it's in like indoor arena, but it's not in our house. So it's outdoors, it's skating, whatever. Get outside, move a little bit. If you can do it when it's sunny out, even better. Let's get some vitamin D. But yeah, get outside, get moving. Number 4, take a field trip. Winter is the best time to take field trips. If you want to go to the museum, the art gallery, the science center, if you want to do those things, unless it's in a place that is specifically open during the summer only, a lot of places are open all winter long, and they have great exhibits and nobody is going. Trust, and like, it's a strange, January is a weird time because of the way like report cards fall in the public school system and like exam schedules and all of that. In Canada, I find there's not a lot of schools taking field trips in January or even February because of like those things that are happening. They're trying to get all these things done. So it's actually kind of a bit of a quieter time for a lot of those places. And even some outdoor places. Like I know the Toronto Zoo is open all winter long, and we definitely did that one March break, and we just like went on a great field trip to the Toronto Zoo. And even though it was cold, we just like hopped from like indoor pavilion to indoor pavilion. It was fantastic. So it's a great time to do field trips. It's a great time to kind of get out and try and see new things. And every field trip I consider a super educational experience. So try that out. And a great tip, if you're like, hey, I really do want to do more field trips, invest in a membership. If it's a place that you're going to visit frequently, check out what the cost per visit is versus like a family membership. And you'd be surprised at how many places a membership is only 2 visits before it covers, it's the same price. And so then you can actually do smaller field trips. So for example, we have a Science North membership because we live nearby. And what we'll do is like, we'll go 1 week and just do 1 floor because it's a 4-floor. It's got, 3 floors. We'll just do the 4th floor. The next time we go, we'll just do the 2nd and 3rd floor. The time after that, we'll go back and we'll do the special exhibit in an IMAX movie. Like giving ourselves a little bit of flexibility. And then it also like, we don't have to go for the whole day. We can just go for 2 or 3 hours. A membership can definitely be worth it and is something to consider if it's a place you're going to go back to a couple of times. So check the cost. Number 5, host a play date. I think playdates are super underrated in the homeschool community as a way to beat a slump and also just like a way to socialize. I know a lot of people are all about the co-op, and let me say, I love the co-op. I love getting together and having the kids play and do something educational and go on field trips and all those things. But there's something about just having a play date and having the kids have someone come over and just hang out. They entertain themselves. They play together. I basically just have to provide food. And I get like a whole afternoon to do whatever I need to do or want to do. Whether it is like extra laundry, cleaning up, because I don't have to entertain them. It's a great option. So if you are in a little bit of a slump and you have some homeschool friends nearby, consider having like a play date once a week and maybe just like rotating swapping houses so that someone gets a kid free afternoon, or have them always come to your house. Like, it doesn't matter. Try a play date. It definitely is a great way to break a slump. Number 6, join a new class. There are a lot of great homeschool classes out there, classes or activities out there. And especially if it's a homeschool class that happens during the day, January can be a great time to try something new and start a class, especially since a lot of places run on very small blocks. So like a 10-week block or a 12-week block. If you're finding winter is really blah and you need a reason to get out of the house, sign up for a new class. It can be a really simple way to get out of the house on a regular basis. And if you're like, hey, I don't really want to like do a class, look for a place that has like a drop-in, whether it's like a gymnastics place. Sometimes they have like, you know, during the day drop-ins. Maybe it's just making a regular meetup with some friends to do something cool. Our co-op is actually doing a meetup every Monday at a local community center. And we're just paying like the day rate, which is $5 a family. And we're going to go in and use a gym and just play different games, dodgeball, different types of tag, basketball, badminton, like the stuff that's already provided by the community center. And it costs us $5. We can walk in for an hour or two, do something fun. And it just gives us a little bit of a outing and a reason to leave the house. So try a class, and if you can't find a class, maybe just arrange to like have a regular meetup with friends. Number 7 is games. You can definitely add some games to your day. If you want to do games on a regular basis, you can definitely pick up some great small games, short games. I would recommend things like King Domino, Kindoodle, Dog Pile. There's lots of like small games you can play with your kids that are kind of short, and you can definitely play those games, like have that as like part of your morning basket even. So that's an option. Or you can just say like, hey, every Wednesday afternoon, we're going to have like a educational game day, or every Wednesday morning, we're just going to play a board game and play something bigger, play Monopoly, play Catan, play Risk, play something that is, you know, a bigger game or a couple games that your kids love, and just have a fun morning. Pretty much every game teaches some kind of skill, whether it is strategy, counting, probability, money, spelling, reading. Like almost every game has at least a few educational skills. I would say the only games that I can think of that don't really have educational skills, but even then, I was thinking like Snakes and Ladders is pretty random. It's a roll of the dice. Candyland is pretty roll of the dice. But even then, you still have taking turns, you know, being a good sport. Like there's always something that you can learn from playing a game. Counting, they're still counting. So yeah, there's still educational things that are happening there. So game schooling is a great way to break a slump. Number 8, do a project. This can go a number of ways, but it is a great way to break a slump. If you are doing like something like a reno project or a project in your house, maybe you decide you're going to make some art for your walls. Maybe you're going to paint a room. Maybe you're going to, you know, build something in the backyard. I don't know. Get the kids involved. Get them to like get together and help you do it. Teach them how to paint the wall. Teach them how, yes, you might have to touch it up. But we're working on teaching skills, and skills mean sometimes they need to scaffold and get better at things. So get them involved. Also, you could do something like, hey, we're going to do a bigger project that we've been wanting to do. Maybe you want to set up one of those like really cool, I always forget the name of them, Rube Goldberg machines. I think that's what it is, where you set up like all the dominoes and all of those things. Maybe you want to do one of those and you've always wanted to do one. Do it now. You're in a slump. Why not? Take 3 days and set up a crazy contraption thing and like set it off and film it and have fun with that. Maybe you've always wanted to do this like really cool experiment, and it's you know, it's going to take a long time and we just never get to it. Do it now. Why not? And these kind of crazy projects are things that kids are going to remember, and it's what makes learning fun. So if you're in a slump, do a big project. Number 9, get messy. I don't know about you, but I am not a huge fan of messy projects. But if you have the time because you're kind of sitting at home, you got snowed in, whatever, and you are thinking, I need something to do. My kids are looking for something to do and we're kind of in a slump. Now is a great time to pull out the paints, pull out the glitter. I hate glitter. Pull out all the pottery wheels or clay or whatever, and let them get creative and let them get a little bit messy. This is something that I often do in the winter with Zoe, my youngest, who loves all things pottery, sculpting, sensory, all that kind of stuff. And last year for her birthday, she was gifted a very small pottery wheel. And so she loves to throw a pot. Loves it. Thinks it's the greatest thing in the world. The only problem is the whole time she's doing it, which, by the way, if you don't know, is like basically like thick mud and water. And they're like dipping their hands in water and like holding the pot while it spins, right? And the whole time Zoe does this. And it's just, when she's done, I literally have to just pick her up and put her directly into the tub. You can do that when you're in a slump because you're not going anywhere, and it is just going to be something new to do. And then we take her pot, she lets it dry for 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it is, and then she paints it. So it's win-win for everybody. We kind of get a longer project or activity, but it is messy, and yes, you do have to be prepared for it, but if you're in a slump, why not? And then the last thing I could recommend, if you're really in a slump and you want to do something different, learn a new skill. This is a perfect time for your kids to learn how to bake, how to code, how to do a handicraft. Maybe you're all going to sit together and learn how to do something like embroidery or sewing, or I don't know, make bread. I don't know. There's all kinds of activities that you can learn. And like, since you're in a slump, why not kind of take some time and focus on learning something new? This Christmas, we worked on making these little ornaments. There were little felt ornaments, and the kids sewed them together and they stuffed them, and they kind of looked like frosted gingerbread cookies was like the vibe we were going for. They were so cute, and it didn't take them long. It was very simple stitching, and was like a great activity. You could totally expand on that, which we might, and make small stuffed animals, because it's the same technique to make a small stuffed animal. You could do all kinds of things. You can, there's all kinds of things. Take up watercolor. You could, maybe your kids really want to learn to code and you like start a coding game with them. There's all kinds of things that you could, because everyone's got the thing they'd love to learn how to do. If you're in a slump, do it now. Take this time and like make that like something you guys can work on. And, maybe you aren't getting through as much math as you want to right now, as much math as you had like in your head, but coding is math. Figuring out all the cuts to how much, the ratios for the size of the doll, of the bear that they're going to make. That's all math. All the measurements and fractions when it comes to baking. Maybe you're going to take a month and you're going to like learn how to bake all different kinds of things. Amazing. That's all math. So sometimes it's just a great way to trying something and learning a new skill, which I think is a really important thing for kids to learn, is how to learn a new skill. Make it fun and part of their education. So I hope this gives you some ideas on how to handle being in a winter slump. It happens to everyone, and having kind of some ideas of what you can do to kind of break it up and make it less slumpy is always great. So I'm hoping this is helpful. Hope you guys like it. If you do like it, maybe consider becoming a subscriber. If you really like it, consider becoming a member, because then you get videos like this. You get early access to these videos. You get coupons, freebies. You also get video content that's exclusive just for you. And so yeah, consider becoming a member. My happy homeschoolers get all kinds of cool bonuses. And make sure you're following on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next week.